Hey there, it's Lacy J here to ask you to go to spacebearmedia.com right now to access all our content, buy yourself some merch, and most importantly, send us a message, the latter of which we'll reply to on our newly revamped weekly pre-shows, where we have as many fun segments as we do on the audio pod. There are current events with Christy, corrections and observations with Ben, and as always, questions with Derek. Plus, I have new fun facts and tell a terrible fucking joke every single week. Please join us, and please consider rating and reviewing us on your favorite app or recommending us to a friend who loves Lost. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Lost in My 40s, Season 3, Episode 10. Tricia Tanaka is dead. It's a Hurley episode. It's a Christy episode. It's a fun one. I'm excited to record today. But first, hello. How's everybody?
Excellent.
Doing good.
Doing all right.
Ben, always bringing up the tail end. All right.
Bringing up the rear.
Well, I think I'm the one that's actually on the longest fucking delay, too. That's what it seems to be.
What?
Is that what it is? All right, honey. Could you update us, please? Where did we end last week on our power rankings?
We had Juliet in first, 61 points. Sawyer in second with 58, dropping to second. Juliet had overtaken him. Desmond still holding with 43 points in third place. The bottom of the barrel is Deadpants Danny, still at negative 90. Poopy Paolo with negative 47. And the correction was Charles Widmore at negative 29 points. Not Mr.
He's a bastard.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
He's pretty bad.
Deserves to be at the bottom.
All right. Christy, are you excited for this Hurley episode?
I'm very excited. I love this
So you
episode.
requested this one? Like before we even started? Wow.
She did, yeah. When I asked her to do the podcast, she jumped right to season 3, and she's like, I want Tricia Tanaka is dead and expose. Those were her requests. She pulled those two out. All right, Christy, tell us about Tricia Tanaka and how she died.
Okay, so we started flashback number 1, and there's a boy who's arranging some tools on the ground near a car that's up on blocks. He looks like he's about 9 or 10, and he's got this cute little curly mop top.
Playing in the background, by the way, coming from the radio in the driveway, is the song Shambala, which will come up again later in the episode.
Yes.
But we did mention the Facebook group called Lost Shambala. I think we mentioned them in episode 3. So this is the episode that the Facebook group is referring to. And that moment is a little sneak peek of the song, only you just get like the first few maybe notes of it in this scene. Yeah.
And I do want to say that Lacy writes these, synopsis of the show. And in this one, she's added some jokes that I'm gonna continue with. Okay, so
Oh, wait.
So the kid has some tools on the ground. The car is up on blocks. He's got this cute little curly mop top, and Cheech Marin walks up with a duffel bag.
Of course.
He offers to sell the kid some dope. Wait, no, that's not right. So the man asks the boy if he's got the car running yet. And the boy says no, but he's got the tools set up and they're ready to work on it. The man tells the boy, who appears to be his son, to get in the car and see if he can start it up. And the boy's like, this is stupid. The car still needs a carburetor. He gets in, and the boy silently prays while he puts the key in the ignition. But when he turns it, nothing happens. And he's like, this is stupid. Without a carburetor, it's not going to work. And Cheech says, having hope is never stupid.
Wrong.
Wrong. Yeah.
Wrong. I'm gonna say that sometimes having hope against hope is actually stupid.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll quote another one of my favorite shows. It's The Hope That Kills You.
What show is that from?
Ted Lasso.
Oh, I should have guessed. Yeah.
So yeah, Cheech is like, yeah, having hope is never stupid. You've got to believe good things will happen, and then they will. That's not really how it works.
Really?
How it works.
I've been believing in $1 million and hoping it still hadn't happened.
I know, right? I always believe I'm going to win Mega Millions or whatever.
Mm-hmm. You will. You probably will.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have some numbers. that you should
you
play.
Oh, that's funny. So yeah, Cheech is like, do you understand what I'm saying? In this world, son, you've got to make your own luck. The boy then asks his father which part of the car they're going to work on today. And Cheech is like, I'm sorry, I've got to go to Las Vegas for work. And yeah,
sure.
And then the boy questions whether or not they're still going to go on their road trip. And the dad's like, look, the Grand Canyon is still going to be there when I get back.
That's true.
He hands him a candy bar, and the boy says, I'm not supposed to. Mom says. And Cheech replies, live a little, Hugo. It's just a candy bar.
Hugo.
Yep.
It's Hurley.
Skinny Hurley.
I mean, did anybody not, like, even the first time you watched this, did anybody not know that
course.
immediately?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's like the only Hispanic character.
Yeah.
Another like great casting.
Paolo.
The casting was really good here.
I wouldn't think they're going to do Paolo this quick.
Paolo's probably
Yeah.
Italian, actually.
I think he's in the show. He's
Brazilian.
from
Brazilian,
Argentina or something like
Argentina.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Wherever he sucks.
Who gives a
Yeah.
shit?
All I'm saying is, of course, Jorge, the actor Jorge is going to be played. The father is going to be Cheech. Yeah, that's obvious.
Yeah.
Of course.
So little Hurley is eating the candy bar, and Cheech gets on the motorcycle without a helmet, by the way, which I'm very disappointed in him. And behind them in the window, you can see Hurley's mom watching everything. So she's watching her husband ride off into the sunset.
How is there no work in Los Angeles? What are you talking about?
It's huge.
I have to go to
city.
Las Vegas? Like, what are you talking
He ain't
about?
going to work.
That says that I'm doing something that I probably shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
So on the island, it is day 76. Hurley's on the beach talking to someone, and he's like, so then the others take the bags off our heads, and we're like on the other side of the island, and they take Jack, Kate, and Sawyer someplace, and they sent me back to warn everyone to stay away, which I did. And now everyone's freaked out. With them gone, and with what happened to Echo, they're all scared. And I'm scared. But then I've been scared most of my time here anyway, except when I'm with you. I miss you, Libby. And then he places the flower on her grave. And Lacy's crying. So then we cut to Charlie on the beach. He's shaving and he's using a shard of mirror to watch what he's doing, but he still ends up cutting himself. Hurley walks up and he asks Charlie why he's been moping. Charlie doesn't really want to talk to him, but Hurley says, dude, you can tell me anything.
Aw.
So Charlie confesses that Desmond said he's going to die because he keeps seeing it in his flashes. Charlie tries to get Hurley to tell him, that he's being daft and that Desmond is a nutter. But instead, Hurley says, I think he might be right. And I think it might be my fault.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like, thanks. Thanks for the
Charlie's
pep talk.
confused. Yeah. Charlie's confused. Hurley tells him that he's cursed, adding, death finds me, dude. And then Vincent runs up carrying an arm in his mouth. It's like mummified.
What?
A key dangles from a rabbit's foot that's on the dead hand. And then Vincent runs off and Hurley thinks that they should follow. And Charlie's like, I am not chasing the dog with the skeletal arm into the creepy jungle.
Why not? You're going to die.
And Hurley's like, hey, if I'm not back in 3 hours, tell somebody.
Not 2.
3 hours.
Not 1.
Like,
But 3.
Yeah,
He knew
why
exactly
would you
3
pick
hours.
3 hours.
Yeah.
It's so weirdly specific.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does he have like insulin shots he needs to do or something?
So Hurley chases after Vincent. And Vincent eventually runs up and drops the arm at his feet before he runs off again. Hurley grabs the key and he follows Vincent's spark. And as he comes around to where Vincent is, they find an old Volkswagen bus turned over on its side with overgrown plants all through it. Hurley stares at it and says, awesome. And then we get the lost title screen.
Hey, Vincent, can I have a hand over here?
Oh. Hey.
Hey.
You've been
All right,
sitting on
now
that one for a little while?
No, I just came up with it right then, but
Nice.
It's amazing how you do that, babe.
So we are in flashback number 2, and there is a news crew outside Mr. Cluck's interviewing Hurley. There's an Asian woman reporter, and she's going on and on about how it's everyone's fantasy to win the lottery, and how one such winner had recently purchased the chicken shack.
What?
She introduces herself as Tricia Tanaka and then asks Hugo why he bought the restaurant. And he responds, I like chicken.
So is this name very, very curiously similar to Asian reporter Tricia Takanawa
Yeah, on Family Guy. Yeah.
in Family Guy? I'm wondering
Tricia Takanawa.
which was first.
I don't know which was first. I don't know.
Family Guy was first, right?
Well, Family Guy, the show was first, but whether Tricia Takanawa was a character
Yeah, it
on
says TV news reporter Tricia Tanaka is a reference to Asian reporter Tricia Takanawa from the popular Fox cartoon sitcom.
Well, there you go.
There you
All
go.
right.
All right.
I'm so excited that my favorite show referred to my other favorite show, and I didn't even know it until right now. Amazing. All right.
That's
keep
great.
going.
So you can tell that Hurley's really not comfortable being interviewed.
No.
Standing on the other side of Tricia Tanaka is, now I want to say Takanawa.
Takanawa.
Standing on the other side of Tricia Tanaka is a man who she introduces as Hugo's former boss and now employee, Randy Douchebag Nation.
He's back, ladies and gentlemen.
I must say, he looks decidedly less douchey now.
Yeah, he does, actually. I noticed
They made him look
He's been
like
put in
it's
his
because he doesn't
place.
have he's not rocking the Caesar cut. That's probably what it is.
Yeah. Well, he's wearing
So we
that
get to kill him
visor, so
again.
we,
Yeah.
we can't really tell since he's wearing the visor.
As long
That's
as it's
true.
covered up.
Yeah. So she jokes about this being every employee's dream, but Hurley just kind of shrugs. And then she asks him what else he's done on his lucky streak. Then he
He's so
launches into
positive.
this. Right.
Oh,
then
it's
he launches
amazing.
into this explanation about all the bad luck that he's had. Grandpa Tito died, the house burned down, his best friend Johnny ran off with his girlfriend Starla.
Asshole.
Oh,
Right. Some guy jumped off my accountant's roof.
What?
Trisha Tanaka says cut, and she's like pissed off at him. She's like, look, this is a puff piece. People want happy. You are ruining this.
she's pretty bitchy.
She
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then she's like, let's go inside and shoot some B-roll. And Hurley's like, no, don't go inside. Randy Douchebag Nations is like, Hurley, it's fine. You know, you're just being superstitious because the ribbon hasn't been cut yet.
What?
He tells Tricia to go ahead and go inside. And as they're walking to the building, Tricia's bitching to the cameraman about how much she hates this and hates puff pieces. And she always gets the stupid stories. Hurley gets nervous and he double checks with Douchebag that all the safety guards are on the fryers. And then we start hearing this high-pitched sound, almost like a missile flying through the air. And Hurley says, do you hear something? Cut to Tricia Tanaka giving the cameraman instructions inside the restaurant when she stops because of the sound. Now we're back at Randy Douchebag Nations and Hurley outside. They're looking up into the sky and a meteor crashes directly into Mr. Claus.
What? And you know what? It didn't look that good. And they actually said that was the single biggest, most expensive shot the show had ever done. The meteor hitting.
Wow.
Really?
And it
just
really didn't
shows
look
you
that good.
The time difference, like how it's almost 20 years ago, and that was
Honestly,
wow.
the meteor is the whole reason why I was like, I want that episode.
So, technically, at this point, it's a meteorite since it did hit
I know.
the ground.
I was
Okay.
thinking about
Okay.
that too. Once it hits the ground, it's a
It's a
meteorite.
meteorite.
Yes. So there's three different. There's a
But this just
meteoroid.
came out of the blue. I was wondering how someone was going to die, and a meteorite is a good thing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you've got a
Super
meteoroid.
unlikely.
A meteoroid is it's smaller than an asteroid, but it's basically something that's floating out in space. A meteor is when it enters the atmosphere, and a meteorite is when it actually lands. Just
Yeah.
because you guys wanted to know that.
Look
I
what happens.
actually
I did know that. I love
did look it
astronomy.
up.
yeah,
I love astronomy, so I know it.
just
I
dropping
looked
some
up
rock
all of that.
knowledge. That's good. I like it.
The other thing is like there's no way you're going to hear this. Like if a meteorite hits, you don't hear it. It's going so much faster.
It's traveling
than the speed
faster
of sound.
than the speed of sound.
So much
yeah.
faster.
Yeah.
They go like 40,000 miles an hour. So.
Have you seen the one that hit or that broke up in Russia a couple of years back? And it was like you see it go through the sky and all of a sudden it gets super, super bright. And then like 2 minutes later, all the windows in the city just shatter, you know?
Yeah, it takes that the sonic boom.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty crazy.
I mean, like, unfortunate.
Like, what did the dinosaurs see, like, just before it hit?
Probably got really, really bright.
And the whole atmosphere ended up turning into an oven and boiling everything alive.
Yeah.
I watched a thing about that. It was hell on Earth.
Yeah, it did that, and then it froze everything afterward.
No, wait, the Earth's only 6,000 years old. Never mind. That's
true.
fake.
That's true.
Jesus
out.
rode a dinosaur.
Yeah, a T-Rex.
So, like, why are there dinosaur bones? And God put them there to test our faith.
Yeah.
Oh,
geez.
actually, people believe that.
Oh,
My
I
ex-
know they do.
My ex.
I know.
I went to a private school for 3 years where they believed the young Earth theory. Yes.
Oh,
God.
Those are probably the same people who believe that the Earth is flat.
But I had
Yeah.
asked them about carbon dating. They said, carbon dating is a lie. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Carbon dating
Elements,
is a lie.
radioactive decay
Yeah,
is a lie?
carbon-
Oh, man.
carbon
Yeah.
I drove those
14
people
is-
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
back to the meteor.
yeah,
right?
the meteorite destroys Mr. Cluck's. Hurley's thrown to the ground. And we can see that the restaurant is absolutely destroyed. Back
Also,
on the island.
if you're standing next to a restaurant that gets hit by a meteor so much that it destroys it, you're dead.
yeah, you're,
Like,
yeah.
there's no getting thrown back against the van or
That
anything like
meteorite
that. You are
looked
fucking
to me about
vaporized.
half the size of the restaurant.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was enormous.
Should've done a
There
hell
would
of a
be a
lot more.
crater. There would be a crater
Yeah.
there bigger than where any of them were standing.
There'd be like a
Meanwhile,
half-mile crater right there,
Right.
and the entire Southwest would be under a fucking like ash shadow.
But
Yeah,
Hurley and douchebag just have like a little bit of ash on their
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
exactly.
So we are on the island, and Hurley is examining the Volkswagen. He finds the rest of the body that Vincent had left behind. It's wearing a Dharma jumpsuit with a swan logo on it.
What?
And written under the logo is Roger. And just
Who?
below that, we see two words, workman.
Hmm.
So now we are
I
back
wonder
on,
if who is Roger will be a question we hear at the end of this episode.
Roger
Possible.
Yeah.
Roger that. Yeah.
So back on the beach, there's a bunch of originals, including two dipshits who should go away. They're all in the beach kitchen, and Paolo is complaining that they're out of Dharma oat bars.
Get the
I
fuck
can't
outta
be
here.
regular because I got to poop. God, he sucks.
Oh my god.
Anyways,
Yeah. Son and Jen are
To which
standing at the
doesn't Nikki
table.
say, "Have you looked behind the powdered milk?" Oh,
Yeah, she
shut
does.
up, both of you.
yeah.
Shut up.
No,
Shut up.
it's not like they have like a whole lot of food. It's easy to look around and see that you're out
it's
of
like
fucking oat
there's
bars.
there's two sides of the thing. It's not like that you put it towards the back and you can't be. Oh my god, these people.
Right, like there's no back, you dumb
Yeah,
bitch.
There's no back. God Almighty.
Idiots.
Oh my god.
So Son and Jen are standing at the table, and she asks him to pass the cereal in English. He looks confused, and she repeats herself in English. He speaks to her in Korean, and she answers, "From now on, I will only speak to you in English. It is how you will learn. It will be hard at first." You can see that Jen is annoyed. And then Hurley runs up, and he's all excited and screaming. So the group runs over like it's an emergency or something when Hurley finally triumphantly announces that he found a car. And everybody's like, this.
Yeah, the disinterest of everybody was just like, wow.
Heartbreaking. Like he's
Yeah.
so excited, but I mean,
They're
I
like-
sort of feel like if I was on the beach, I'd have the same reaction. Like,
Yeah.
and
Especially if there were no oat bars.
Yeah.
Right.
Seriously.
If you had found
no
oat bars.
no
Yeah.
cobbler, and you're coming at me with a car. Like,
Right.
Yeah. Seriously.
So he's still excited, and he's like, but we might be able to fix it and drive it around. But nobody else really cares.
no.
Hurley insists that it'll be fun and that they need something fun. And the whole beach crowd is just like, whatever.
Yeah, what roads would they drive on?
Seriously.
Roads?
Yeah.
Roads?
Paolo
Yeah.
is like, fuck this, I'm getting bananas. And Charlie
Yeah.
just tells Hurley no. Everybody just kind of walks away except for Jin. Hurley puts a hand on his shoulder and is like, thanks, dude. And then he laughs and asks, you have no idea what you just volunteered for, do you? So Jin kind of laughs too because he doesn't know what the fuck he volunteered for. Right.
He has no clue.
See, he's bugging out of his English lesson, and you can see why.
Yeah, he's like, sun is annoying me. Let's go.
Let's go.
We are back to Kate and Sawyer, who are walking through the jungle. And he's like, are we there yet? So she's like, look, our beach is just through those trees. We'll be home soon. Sawyer is like, well, try to contain your excitement, Freckles. When she says, forgive me if I'm not excited about explaining why there's only 2 of us coming back, James. The way she says his name is so condescending.
Yep, James.
Sawyer thinks that the rest of the originals should be explaining why nobody came looking for them.
Mm-hmm.
So he is just about to start bitching about Locke in particular when he steps on a dart and starts screaming, ow, ow, son of a bitch. So Kate
I don't believe
comes
the dart
over.
went in that far into his foot.
No, it didn't look like it.
Because
Yeah.
those shoes that he's wearing would have a sole, such as like maybe it poked his foot, but I don't believe that it was like in there.
Yeah.
And this
It
whole scene
probably
made me
wasn't
just
that bad.
kind of think, like, what's the point?
Yeah, it's a dumb scene.
When I was 10, my
Point.
brother and I had built
Dart.
a tree fort behind our house, in this little forest behind our house, with our friends, some other little boys that lived down the street. And while we were building it, I jumped out of the tree and I had on just like white Keds. I mean, we're all
And
the
stepped
same
on a
age.
nail?
Yeah. Jumped from like 10 feet high and landed on a nail that was pointing upward from a board.
Yum.
And it
Bad
did
luck
go
there.
through my shoe and into my foot. And there was so much blood that the white Ked that I was wearing on that foot just started to like turn red. It was fucking disgusting.
Might get lockjaw.
I basically did the exact same thing when I was 10, except for I didn't jump onto the nail. I was running. And so
and
I
you stepped on
stepped on it. I think I was 10 and somebody ran down to my house and got my mom and she had to take me to the emergency room because, you know, you might get lockjaw.
That's right.
Yeah, my mom
My
wasn't
grandmother
home.
would say, "I get lockjaw."
Yeah, my grandma. My mom wasn't home at the time, but I went to the other kid's mom, who was my mom's friend, and ended up, you know, in the emergency room with all of that. Side note, that tree fort that we had. Go ahead.
I have a weirdly similar story.
Really?
Had the very
We all
same
jumped
thing
on
happened.
nails?
No, mine was different. Mine was a golf tee. I thought because it was made of wood that I could just crush it. So I put a golf tee down with a point up and I stomped on it. And it went right through my shoe, right into the arch of my foot.
Okay, so ours was accidents.
No,
because you were
mine
fucking
was
stupid.
Mine was stupidity. Yeah.
I have one
Oh
too,
my-
but it's not a nail or a golf tee. I was 6. My grandmother ran the nursery at a church where we lived, and I'd go there when I was a kid. And they had, back then, toys were real. Like they had a real metal simulated
Toys were
refrigerator
real.
instead of plastic.
Mhm.
And they had these bricks that are made out of like cardboard. I was jumping in and out of them, and I caught my face on the corner of the metal refrigerator and just tore a hole to my
Goddamn. Yikes.
cheek. Yeah,
Ouch.
so my grandmother didn't drive, so they called my parents who had been discoing the night before, so they were tired because it was like 8 in the morning. Yeah, they used to go
You're
disco.
hungover.
Yeah, they were. And they came, took me to minor emergency and sewed me up. But the funny thing, my mom said, yeah, there's this other little girl that was bawling her eyes out, but you were just sitting there like blood coming out of your face.
I can see you, Derek. You're like, you know how I got these scars?
Yeah. Well, I did have a scar till I was 13, and they got me plastic surgery. They fixed it and made it,
Is this
Whatever.
like are we having like a Gen X moment where we were
Yes.
all out doing stupid shit
and we
harming
survived.
ourselves?
See,
Yeah.
we survived.
And our parents were like nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted to say, side note about this tree fort. We finally got the tree fort built and it was finished. And then one day we were all hanging out in the tree fort and we climbed up in there and there was a cooler. And inside the cooler, there was some stuff and we didn't really know what it was. So we brought it to our parents and my mother called the police and it was like 6 pounds of heroin
Holy shit.
in a cooler
nice.
in our tree fort.
Somebody was hiding a cooler full of drugs
Heroin in our tree fort.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
I bet they
And
were
then
pretty pissed when they came back and it was gone.
I would imagine that they would be.
Wonder what
I don't
that
know
would have been worth.
Yeah, I don't know what else happened after that, to tell you the truth. I'd have to ask my mom if she knows if anyone was ever caught. The only part I know about is that I had my hands on quite a stash when I was a kid and I let it go.
Yeah, seriously.
Anyways, I don't know what we're even talking about. How the hell did we get here?
Sawyer stepped on a dart.
Yeah, went
yeah.
from dart to a nail to heroin in a tree fort.
All right. So she tells him, sit down. I'll pull it out on 3. And she says 1 and yanks it out. He's like, you said on 3. And she says, well, the anticipation is really the bad part.
That's actually true.
Yeah. So she sits down next to him and she tells him that really all that he has to do is say that he's sorry and they would have a clean slate.
She really tries here, actually.
She
I
does,
think.
but then this is stupid. So the word slate reminds Sawyer of Little House on the Prairie.
What?
Because Laura Ingalls used to write on a chalkboard.
It's so weird and random,
Yeah.
isn't it? I do find it endearing, though, when in this scene, when she's like talking to him about Little House, it's kind of cute.
Yeah, so he calls it Little House. And she's like, you mean Little House on the Prairie? And so he explains that he had mono. He missed 2 months of school as a
Kissing
kid.
disease.
And there was only one channel in his trailer. So he watched a lot of Little House.
One channel.
Did you guys get
She's
mono when you were a kid?
No.
I never had mono.
I've never
They
had...
called it the kissing disease when I was a kid.
I think
Just
they
gotta-
still do.
I've
Yeah.
never
I don't
had
know.
mono, but I do have Epstein-Barr virus in my system, which is the virus that causes mono.
Right.
Most
I never
people
had
who
it.
have MS have Epstein-Barr in their system.
Yeah, you told me that there's some sort of interesting like correlation there, but nobody really knows why, right?
Right. Mhm.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never had mono, but I can remember being jealous of the kids who did when I was younger because all I
Yeah, 'cause
really
they-
wanted to do was sit at home for a few months.
Yeah, I know, because they disappear for like 2 months. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, damn, I
I
want to be.
was like, how great would that be? I could just sit at home and watch Jerry Springer every day and not have to
Because
go to school.
does it do anything to you, like as far as make you feel bad? Or
I think it's extreme fatigue, and that's why
Yeah.
people
Oh,
can't.
okay.
like,
It's actually a
function.
member of the herpes virus family.
herpes.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So that's one of those things that once it gets into your system,
It's
it's
always
like
there.
chickenpox.
There for
is,
life.
right.
Yeah.
Chickenpox is part of the herpes
Right.
family.
Yeah.
Right.
Roots
So,
into
yeah.
roots into your nerves and just stays there
It
forever.
stays, yeah.
Do you may get shingles later?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Wow.
the shingles, I think, are if you had
Bad immune.
chickenpox.
If you had
Right.
chickenpox,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So
It's-
I've already
it's
had
actually-
a couple shingles outbreaks.
And they're painful.
And they won't let me get the fucking vaccine until I'm 50 unless I pay out of pocket, which is like
What?
hundreds of dollars.
It is, yeah, it's
Fuck.
expensive.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Wow. We're so off track.
Yes, we are.
Well, I think it's because Tricia Tanaka's dead and we're all grieving in our own ways.
I know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, got it.
Well,
Okay.
speaking of, Kate's like, what are we even talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Even Kate knows.
Yeah, and Sawyer says, we ain't talking about nothing. As
On
he
the
my
walks
nose,
away.
Sawyer, on the nose.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
just totally shuts down here, and I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, he does
yeah.
shut down. Exactly. He says, I ain't got nothing to be sorry for. And Kate says, so that's how it's going to be. Welcome home, Sawyer. And he says, welcome home, Kate. So
Yeah.
she's back to calling him Sawyer now.
Yeah.
And then we are back to the, where the other survivors are on the beach, and we can see Kate and Sawyer arriving. They happily greet everyone, but they keep their distance from each other.
Yeah, and they're kind of like side-eyeing each other, and
Yeah.
it's so sad. Like, they were just figuring their shit out, and now they both have to be fucking stubborn. I give Kate a few more points because she did try to reach out just now in this scene, but neither one of them's being particularly fantastic.
Yeah. So
Anyways.
anyway, flashback number 3. We see Hurley covered in dust and destruction enter the foyer of a fancy home. And his
Ridiculous
mother
home.
sees him. Yeah, it's a ridiculous house.
Hideous.
Yeah, it's so tacky.
Oh, God.
And I like tacky stuff, but this house is way too tacky for me.
No,
Yeah.
it's tacky rich. It's that
It's that
obnoxious,
new money.
the nouveau riche sort
yeah,
of look.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, everything's in like gold and leopard print, and it's like, okay, we get it. You got
Yeah,
you got
leopard
money.
print.
Yeah, it's terrible. So his mother runs over and she's like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And Hurley just says, "Tricia Tanaka is dead."
Yeah.
I love it.
He tells his mother that Mr. Klux is gone, destroyed by a meteor or an asteroid. So he doesn't really know what the fuck it was either. And he says that it's the lottery's fault. It's the numbers.
Yeah, he knows what it was. It was those
exactly.
fucking numbers is what it was.
Yep.
Yeah. His mom doesn't want to believe this, and she insists that it was an accident. But Hurley's like, "No, it wasn't an accident. It's a curse. I need to go to Australia."
Oh, boy. At least this
yeah.
tells us where we are in the timeline,
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
Before he meets what's her face in the middle of nowhere.
Who we all hated.
Yeah, she was hilarious though.
She had like the worst accent.
Yep.
I absolutely loved Ado and Dave on Lost the Plot when they were talking about it and they did
About
her
her.
accent. It was so funny.
They'll
Shout
be
out.
with us here in a few weeks. What episode is this right now? 10? They'll be here in 4 weeks.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay. So she's, like, it's not a curse. She's exasperated and I can prove that you're not cursed. So she leads him into another room and there is Tommy Chong. No, wait, that's not right. It's Cheech.
They're up in smoke.
Carmen looks at
Cheech.
Hurley triumphantly and she says, "After 17 years, your father has returned."
She says it like this is like some fucking miracle. Like, oh, I can't believe the guy showed up after we won the lottery.
Yeah,
What a
exactly.
surprise.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hurley stares at his dad.
You think like the mother is always telling me, "Oh, Hugo, you need to go find the woman and all this type of shit." Come on, mom, practice what you preach. Jesus.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Good
Apparently
Lord, lady.
she's a married woman.
Oh,
Well,
she
She's a
should have
married
been out there
woman.
getting that D.
She couldn't. She was a married woman and she
That's
swore
right.
vows before God.
She loves Jesus and all that.
Yeah, and
kind of
as
stuff.
you see later, she's very religious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I will get there.
Yep.
Oh yeah, gross. So Cheech stares at Hurley and he goes, "Hey, your mom wasn't kidding about those candy bars."
The fuck?
It's what a fucking jackass thing to say.
17
you-
years and you
yeah.
come at me with a fat joke? Like, get out of here.
When we really know that you just want my money.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now we are back on the island and Hurley and Jen are staring at Roger in the van. Hurley says, "Sorry about your arm, dude."
Ah.
I'll give you a hand.
Jim calls Hurley to the back of the van. They open it and they find that it's full of Dharma beer.
Ugh.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Hurley's like, dude, Roger was on a beer run.
Oh my God. I
it's
love
funny
it.
because at this point, like Jin looks at the beer and he like really, really smiles. But that does he understand? Does he know how to spell beer in English?
I don't
Yeah,
know,
it's true.
but it's a can. Maybe he
Yeah,
just,
but it could be soda. It could be.
It could be anything. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe he learned how to say beer. To be fair,
Or spell beer.
I don't-
I mean,
but, well,
Well, Hurley said beer run.
he did say beer run. I don't speak Spanish, like a very, very little Spanish, but I do know what cerveza is.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
do
everybody
you know
So
what
maybe,
it is?
yeah.
Do you know what it is in Korean?
Well, no, but that's not the point.
Okay.
The point is, words like that, you might know them in other languages. More often, it's going to be like
he was
swear
coming
words.
He was going to Australia and then the US. So maybe that's one of the words that he decided to learn
Yeah, see?
before they left Korea.
Yeah,
He
when
worked
I
at a
went to
hotel
Costa Rica,
too, so he might, a lot of people,
Americans would
tourists
come
in
in saying
hotels.
beer.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
when I went to Costa Rica, I learned how to say "Donde está la cerveza," and it got me everywhere I need to go. I didn't have to speak any other Spanish besides that. and I
Donde
was fine.
está el baño?
Yeah, you need to know that.
All right, this episode's going to be weirdly like long and off track, guys.
Yeah. Okay,
That's
so
fine.
Jen is gesturing towards the van, and Hurley's like, "Dude, you are terrible at charades." Jin keeps going, and Hurley finally realizes that Jin wants to take Roger out and flip the van upright. So they grab hold of Roger and count to 3, and as they pull him out, Roger's head pops off and rolls to the ground.
Whoops!
And Hurley just says, we'll get that later. So, fresh from the tarp farm, Desmond is arranging one atop his campsite.
I mean, for real, though. Where did he get that from?
Yeah.
I know. So Charlie shows up and he wants to know when he's going to die. You know, Desmond pretends that he doesn't know what Charlie's talking about, saying that he was drunk earlier. Charlie isn't having any of it, and he demands an answer. So Desmond tries to explain that it doesn't work like that when Sawyer shows up looking for Charlie. Hey, Oliver Twist, where the hell's my stuff?
Oh my God.
Where the hell's my stuff?
Oh, so funny.
Fuck.
So Charlie feigns ignorance. And Sawyer is like, no, I want my books, my food, my porn, and my scotch.
I mean,
Desmond chimes in and he says, hi, apologies for the scotch, mate. Sawyer is annoyed that Desmond drank it. And in his defense, Desmond says, well, it was actually 3 of us.
oh, that makes it better.
Yeah.
And Sawyer questions you, the Munchkin, and who else?
Munchkin.
And I love that he calls Charlie a Munchkin.
Yeah.
He really should have said Hobbit, but I'll take Munchkin.
He does. He does call him a hobbit in one episode. I don't remember which one it is.
Yeah.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does say that. Yeah.
So in the jungle, Jin is showing Hurley how to make a lever to flip the van. Hurley calls him crafty. When Jin questions the meaning of the word, Hurley says crafty. It's like when you're good at crafts.
Oh, thank
Never
you.
mind.
Wow.
Yeah, he's not good at explaining. Sawyer comes charging over, demanding his stuff, but then his demeanor kind of changes when he sees the van. And Hurley runs over to Sawyer saying, dude, you're alive, and gives him a huge hug. And I just love how happy Hurley is to see Sawyer.
Yep.
Even when
It
Sawyer's
breaks
like,
Sawyer down super fast, too. He's just
Absolutely.
like so caught off guard. He's immediately on a different track.
yeah. So then he chuckles a little and he says, yeah, Snuffy. It's good to see you too.
Stuffy.
Oh, God.
Stuffy.
He does
Then
kind of
he's
break a little bit there, though. You see that he's actually, like, genuinely happy to see
Yeah.
Hurley,
Yeah.
no matter how much he tries to pretend like he's not.
Yeah. So he takes another look at the van and he says, I'll be damned. You all found yourselves a hippie car. Jin comes over and hugs Sawyer and says, good to see you. And Sawyer notices that Jin is now hooked on phonics. For those of you who were born after the 80s and 90s, Hooked on Phonics was a program that taught illiterate people how to read.
It was a big thing when we were a kid. Hooked on phonics.
Hooked on
was, like,
Phonics. Worked
advertising.
for
me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that
Yep.
advertising was just everywhere. When we were
Everywhere,
like, what,
yeah.
80s, right? Early,
Yeah.
Yep.
mid 80s?
Early
yeah.
90s. And yeah.
Even early 90s? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Okay.
Now they have new phonics or whatever. I don't know. Hurley asks about Kate and Jack, and Sawyer lets him know that the others still have Jack, but Kate is back. And Hurley's feeling good. He's, taking the car, and Kate and Sawyer's return is good signs. And he's like, Jack's going to be back. So Sawyer again asks for his stuff back, but Hurley tells him no. You're going to help us flip this
No.
car and get it started. And when Sawyer questions why he'd do that, Hurley says, because there's beer.
There's beer.
FYI,
Hey,
I
man,
just checked.
it works.
I just checked in. Sawyer calls Charlie a hobbit in the next week's episode. Enter 7.
Okay, cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Locke, Saeed, and Kate are walking on the beach, and Saeed wants to know why Jack told Kate not to come back. And Kate says he sacrificed himself for us, but, he probably didn't want it to be for nothing. Saeed mentions Hurley told him Michael and Walt had left on a boat, and Kate says, yep,
Walt.
they took off and never looked back.
What?
Right. Saeed asks if there are other boats, and Kate says she didn't see any, but I doubt they'd give away their only one, which we know that they have another boat because we saw Jack and Juliet on the bow of the ship last week.
Something.
Bigger boat,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a bigger boat.
So they have that, and then they had the little ferry boat as well.
Yeah.
And then
The
The submarine.
And the pontoon.
The submarine.
The hell is a pontoon?
The little thing that Jack and Sawyer, or Kate and Sawyer and Carl came over on.
Yeah.
It's an outrigger.
Oh,
Outrigger,
the
okay.
outrigger.
Sorry,
Yep,
not a pontoon. A pontoon is a different kind of boat.
Yeah.
So they got lots of boats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Locke just seems like taken with the idea that they can leave the island.
Yep.
And
That's
Kate
true.
explains that they escaped with Carl, who told them that they lived on this island, and she says that they could have taken him there if Sawyer hadn't let him go.
I mean,
And Saeed wants to know why Sawyer freed Carl, and Kate's like, I don't know, but I don't care what Jack says. We're getting him back.
That's right.
Yeah, and she walks away. She says she's going to go get help, and Locke is like, help from who?
Who?
help from you know who fucking who. When you need help with getting shit done on the island, where do you go?
That's right.
That is bitch around.
So, flashback number 4. There's a close-up shot of a golden Jesus statue spinning on a lazy Susan in the middle of the table.
That's disgusting.
It's ridiculous. And
Jesus Christ.
yeah. So we see the Reyes family sitting at their dining room table, and Cheech says, now that's a hell of a Jesus.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and Carmen says that Hurley had it commissioned from artisans in Taxco to custom carve this for her on account of her love for the Savior.
Oh
What
my
is
God.
Taxco?
I think it's a city in Mexico.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but that's what I think it is.
Jesus
So-
literally said, give away all your possessions and follow me. Like, that's what he, I mean, if granting that he's real and that we know what he says, fine. I mean, we can argue about that, obviously.
Right.
But if you're someone who believes what the Bible says, that's what Jesus says. Like, it's just so absurd.
The hypocrites, the amount of hypocrites that there
They're
are
building
out
a
there.
gold idol of Jesus.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't there a thing or two about idols in the Bible?
Yeah. The 10 Commandments. Charlton
something like
Heston
that.
told me.
Oh my God. Anyways.
Yeah, so anyway, some butlers bring over plates full of food, and they, lift the lids off the plates to reveal lasagna and cheeseburgers and fries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crappy dinner.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And so Carmen tells Cheech that Hurley hired the cooks from Bennigan's to be their butlers. And man, I would be eating Monte Cristo sandwiches all the time. I'd be as fat as Hurley is because I fucking miss Bennigan's.
We used to go to
did
Bennigan's
Bennigan's
all
a
the
lot
time.
when I was younger.
The thing is, like, I feel like I thought that was just a Northeast sort of chain, but it must have been
Dallas,
national, I guess.
Yeah.
My
Is it-
first girlfriend, I took her on our first date there, and she said she'd never been in a place that nice. I'm like, what?
Wow.
And I go, where do your previous boyfriends take you? Taco Bell? I was like,
Oh my God. Yeah. Bennigan's, like, it was back in the TGI Fridays, like Bennigan's sort of heyday.
Chili's,
We'd go there all the time.
yeah.
Chili's. I
well, they
worked
still
at a
have
Chili's.
Fridays and Chili's here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
no
just haven't
Bennigan's.
been into one in like 20 years, except for the
We used to
Chili's
hang
in
out
the
there,
airport.
Ben. Used
The
to play the
Bennigan's?
trivia. Yeah. No, not Bennigan's. TGI Fridays.
The
Over there in
TGI
Plano.
Fridays over there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we played
Over
trivia
there
too.
by Office Depot.
Yep. Yeah, we
Yep,
played
yep.
the Buzz Time trivia
Yeah.
thing.
Yep, we had that too.
Yep.
So, okay. Hurley is pouting through the whole thing, and he's, just staring at his plate. And then he finally
It's
speaks
weird
up.
that Bennigan's made us go off on a tangent for a good, 2 minutes, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah. We seem pretty tangential prone right now. I feel like
Yes.
everything is sort of setting us off.
Anyways, I just derailed us to bitch about us derailing, but
I know.
go ahead. Oh, God.
so Hurley finally speaks up, and he's pissed that his mom is acting as if, Cheech never left. And he
Yeah.
wants to know why she's not suspicious. And his dad is like, I'm only here because Carmen called me.
What?
And yeah, now Hurley's
Wait a
really
second.
pissed.
This
Wait,
woman's
what?
had his phone number for 17 years, and you're
And
just
this
like,
finally called him after
What?
the lottery. What?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no.
she defends her actions, saying that Hurley's obsession with the curse and the numbers is nonsense. And Hurley says, I'm not crazy. And the only reason that he's back is because he wants the money.
Yep.
So
Duh.
then Hurley throws a pile of money at the butlers and he fires them and says, it's for your own good. I'm
Oh my
saving you
God.
from dying or worse.
And they grab it and run too.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm pretty sure Bennigan's would take them back. That cheeseburger lasagna combo is something that's really going to get it going at
Yeah,
Bennigan's.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could probably get Bennigan's back up in business.
Yeah.
Harmon questions his actions, and then Hurley is like, I'm getting rid of it all. The money, the house, the livestock, which...
What?
Livestock.
What?
Yeah.
I know. I'm not seeing any livestock, but okay. And he's like, and my father, I'm getting rid of him too.
Yep.
So Carmen is like, Cheech is staying here.
Ugh.
Then she, when he's like, no, he needs to go. And she's like, I have needs, Hugo.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ew. So she
Ugh.
basically implies that she hasn't been laid in 17 years and she needs some cock. And
Pretty
when she
much.
does this, she
Yeah.
covers the little ears of the little gold Jesus.
She did.
It's hilarious.
Yes.
And then
Jesus
Hurley,
is watching you fuck, Mrs. Reyes.
yeah, and then Hurley totally, reverts to a small child and is holding his hands over his ears and he's screaming, no, 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 this can't be happening. He has to go. I want him gone. And then his mom just completely ignores him and she says, Hugo, why don't you go show your father what you have in the garage?
Oh, boy.
Let's it's Hugo. That's how she
Yeah.
pronounces his name.
Yeah,
Hugo?
I can't quite do it.
Hugo.
Hugo.
Which is actually how you say juice, by the way.
Yeah.
Actually,
Hugo
when
is
Christy does an English accent or a Mexican accent, it sounds the same.
Do
I
I?
just wanna- it's just the accent. It's like this is something other than me. Although you do nail Saeed every now and then, which
I wish
don't
I
know
could
why
nail
that happens.
Saeed every now and then.
You have
Hey-oh.
needs.
Hey.
Oh my god.
Okay. Now they go into the garage and Hurley and his father are standing next to the old Camaro. And Cheech says, I can't believe it. You saved it. I'm not going to try to do the accent anymore. All right. Hurley, Jen, and Sawyer give the heave-ho, and they flip the van upright.
Hee-ho.
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 Is that like
It's
a
off
man
to work
whore?
I go.
Is it hee-ho?
Okay, now I just have the giggles.
Does he have a mangina?
Oh.
What is that? What is
Deuce
a
Bigelow.
manager? Oh,
goodness.
God. Wow, we're really back in the
Yeah.
90s, like full on.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this little trio does a little cheering, and then Sawyer flings open the side door. Inside of the van, there's a large pile of crumpled up papers, and Jen is in the back looking in the engine compartment. Or
It's full
no,
of
wouldn't it be the front of Volkswagen?
no bus is in the back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Volkswagen bus is in the back.
Yeah, okay. It was the
Hey,
Beatles.
guess
that was in the
what
front.
fun facts
Fun
we might be
facts?
talking about today?
Yeah, there's
Let-
plants growing in the engine. I don't think it was going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, once you clean out the plants, maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while Jin's looking in the engine compartment, Sawyer finds himself a map. And he
What?
looks at it and says, looks like those Dharma freaks were building some sort of dirt road. So then he sees the beer and he says, woo, now we're talking.
Beer.
Okay,
Yeah.
cowboy.
Jin is speaking in Korean, and Hurley means he's like, okay, I guess the engine's fine.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then,
he sort of acts like he can understand him. Like Stewie
Yeah.
on Family Guy is speaking, and only some people can understand him. And Jin speaks Korean. He just is like knows what Jin's
Hurley
saying,
does,
or
yeah.
that's what I'm pretending.
Yeah.
He's in
he's
tune with
intuitive
him.
like that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Sawyer yells, what's a head doing back here? And Hurley's like, oh, that's just Roger.
Just
Oh my
Roger.
god, he's so casual about it.
So then he decides that he's going to start this car, and he hops in the front. Sawyer grabs a beer and Hurley says, I have hope this will work. He closes his eyes, turn the key, and nothing happens. And he says, damn it.
Yeah, that's funny. Damn it.
So the scene changes a few minutes later, and Sawyer is sitting against the van next to Roger, who has his head back. He pops open one of the beers, and he's like, it's flat and it stinks.
Oh, God, it's got to be horrible.
30 years old.
Yeah, I don't know if I would
sitting
drink
in a
that.
jungle.
I don't think you could drink it, yeah.
I don't know if I would. I probably wouldn't.
Wine you could, but...
No. Depends on how well the wine's
it wouldn't
kept.
be, it wouldn't be well stored in a tropical island, yeah.
No, yeah.
It'd be vinegar by then.
I was given some wine and champagne and stuff that a neighbor was cleaning out of her mom's house. And there was a bottle of Bordeaux that was in the collection. And the Bordeaux itself, the color was just kind of floating around in it. It was like flakes of Bordeaux color in clear liquid. It was the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen. I threw that away.
Yeah, I would too.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, I was like, no, Bordeaux is not supposed to be white with big red hunks in it.
I wonder what does that. I'm going to have to Google that.
Yeah.
Pre-show next week.
Yeah. So, Hurley's bugging Jin, who's tinkering with the car, and Sawyer is like, telling Hurley to chill. And Hurley responds with, dude, that beer's been sitting there since before Rocky 3, maybe even 2. It's probably poisoned by now. And Sawyer is like,
he was enticing him with it like 2 minutes ago, but
I know.
okay.
Right.
But then Sawyer says, well, Skeletor seems to like it, and he clinks the beer against Roger's head.
Yeah.
I loved that line. So Hurley gets pissed off at Sawyer, and he's like, look, Roger Workman probably had a family. Sawyer calls him a blockhead, and he says, that's not his name. It's his title. He was a janitor. Jin says something in Korean, and Hurley's like, yay, the van is fixed. But Jin says in English, no fix.
No fix.
I think
Hurley
if he
wants
knows
him to keep trying.
If he knows no fix, then he'd probably know beer. I don't know.
Maybe.
What do you think, Ben? Can you accept that?
I've already accepted the fact he probably figured out beer when he was working at a hotel.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize we had won that battle. Never mind.
The beer battle.
Right. So Hurley wants Jin to keep trying, but Sawyer is like, there is no way you're going to get this running. And then he's like, why is this so important to you to get it started? And Hurley says, because we could all use a little hope.
True.
I love you,
Sawyer
Hurley.
says, if it's hope you're looking for, S.A., you're on the wrong damn island.
True.
There sure as hell ain't no hope here.
Sawyer.
S.A.
Yeah.
Sawyer.
So flashback number 5.
So he disappoints me over and over, and then I love him, and then he disappoints me again. And this part disappoints me.
Yeah.
Which
I'm
tells
on
her
Hurley's
there's no
side.
hope.
Yeah, I'm on Hurley's side here.
Yeah.
Well, I would be too after being there 76 days.
Yeah.
Need some hope.
Yeah.
So flashback number 5, Hurley is asleep and he's wearing headphones in his fancy bedroom. And Cheech comes in and wakes him up, and, Hurley's kind of groaning, and his father asks him about the headphones, and Hurley's like, they're for the noise. And his father says, well, your mother's a very passionate woman.
Oh my God.
That's disgusting, says Hurley.
Whoa. I mean, she'd
Yeah.
been waiting 17 years.
Yeah,
I
she
guess
had.
that could be loud.
Didn't have a bob or anything.
A
Yeah.
lot
her
of
over.
passion.
Oh my God.
So Cheech wants Hurley to go on an adventure with him, but Hurley is like, no, I'm not going anywhere with you.
Actually, that's exactly what he says. I'm not going anywhere with you. Just exactly like Walt said to Michael in season 1 flashback.
Oh, yeah.
Walt.
Right? When he goes to his house in Australia, and that's when he's like, yeah, Brian's not here and you're coming with me. And he's like, I'm not going anywhere with you. It's just the exact same line, and it's delivered the same way, which I thought was really interesting.
I think it's
Yeah.
interesting that Cheech is like, I won't even stop you from going to Australia. And I'm like, how you can't stop me from doing any
Right,
of this.
right.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Try it, asshole.
Try it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will
he's-
thump you.
Cheech is like, look, we're going to break the curse. And if it doesn't work, then go to Australia.
Okay.
So Hurley and
Derek's
his father.
in. Okay. All right. Cool. How do
Yeah,
we break the
yeah.
curse? Let's do it.
Right. So Hurley and his father are now with a psychic who is
Oh,
using
no,
tarot
there's-
cards. Yeah. I'm sure that Carmen would not be okay with this. Tarot cards are the devil. So.
Oh, yeah.
So Hurley's like, this is
True.
stupid. And Cheech is like, look, just give it a chance. So the psychic is turning her cards over and she says that Hurley has recently come into a lot of money. And he's like, you could have seen that on television.
Yep.
She flips the second card and says, but it hasn't brought you happiness. No, it's brought you great misfortune. And, well, you could have seen that on the news too.
Don't bullshit me, lady.
Yeah. So then the psychic starts saying that she sees numbers and Hurley asks which one. And she promptly says 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. Yeah, shocking.
Oh my gosh, she knew those numbers.
There is darkness around these
Guess
numbers.
what? You can look it up on the website, the lottery website.
Great tragedy. She flips another card and it's the death card. And she says,
course.
I'm sorry. Death surrounds you and more is coming. Then she takes his hand and tells him that he is cursed and she can fix it. So she tells him to take off his clothes.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
Because he needs to be exercised. So, she's messing around with a pot and,
cracking an egg in it. And pouring all these.
Dumping seasonings and like she's going to cook
I
him.
didn't think that exorcism, they take you to the bathtub and hold you down and start praying over you.
Oh, I think that's a baptism.
Pea soup.
I don't know, but Hurley's wise to it. He's like, did my dad put you up to this? And he takes out a wad of cash and he's like, I'll give you $1,000 right now if you admit my dad told you to say this stuff. She acts all offended and she's like, the mystic arts are not subject to bribes.
Oh, fuck you.
Dare you?
Uh-huh.
Then he's like, 10,000. And she immediately says, yeah, your dad put me up to it.
Hell yeah. The mystic arts.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
What is that?
What? Oh my God.
So on the island, Hurley is sitting a little bit away from Jen and Sawyer. And they're drinking beer while Sawyer teaches him a few English words. Sawyer points to the beer and says, beer.
Oh, there
Jen
you go.
repeats, beer. Sawyer points to the car and says, car. And Jen repeats, car. Sawyer points to Hurley and says, International House of Pancakes.
God damn.
God.
So fucked up.
Oh my God.
So Hurley ignores the insult and Sawyer asks what he's doing over there. And Hurley says, I'm praying for help. Sawyer throws him some help by throwing him a beer can.
Yep.
The beer, though, it falls to the ground and starts rolling downhill. Hurley sees this happen and his face changes to show that he has an idea.
Aha.
Oh, snap. What's coming?
I mean, anybody who's ever had to pop a clutch knows what's coming.
Yep.
Again, Gen X.
I know.
We all had to learn how to drive
automatic
on the
cars.
stick. Yeah.
Or they're paddle shifters. Yeah.
Let's like okay boomer it for a second. You
I
kids
know.
and your automatics.
Does everyone here know how to drive a stick?
That's how I learned.
I learned
Yeah.
on a stick.
I took driver's ed with stick shift. Yeah.
I learned
Lacy,
when I bought my Camaro in '96. I had no idea, but
I've
Figured it
never
out.
owned. I've never owned a stick shift, but my ex-husband, the first one, had a Jeep Wrangler, and I would drive that all the time, especially when we first moved to the Seattle area. I was in a different place, but still in the Puget Sound, and I would just drive around in the Jeep and explore everywhere. What were you just going to ask me something, Christy?
So Sean Greenman taught me how to drive a stick.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, because I was buying his old car when he moved to Arizona. I was like,
So I knew you at this point.
yeah. So I bought that car from him, and I was like, well, now you have to teach me how to drive it. So
I
learned in about 20 minutes.
I remember you buying the car, but I didn't remember that you didn't know how to drive stick at that point. That's interesting.
Yep.
Anybody else want to talk about how old we are before we move on?
yeah.
Okay.
All right. So Hurley's on the beach and he finds Charlie moping again. And Charlie's like, I'm actually just thinking. And Hurley's like, when people stare silently at the ocean, they are moping.
Yeah, all right. I'll buy that.
Hurley tells Charlie to get up because they're getting this car started. And when Charlie is like, what is the point? Hurley slaps him across the face and tells him to snap out of it and stop feeling sorry for himself just because someone said he's gonna die.
Hey now, Mayor of Islandtown's laying some truth on Charlie.
He is.
So Hurley's like, I've got an idea that's gonna help both of us. It's dangerous, and there's a very good chance that you will die.
Perfect.
So Charlie's like, well, that's a weird way to get me to participate. But, you know, Hurley seems to think that if Charlie survives this, then they win.
Oh.
He's like, look, I don't know about you, but things have really sucked for me lately and I could use a victory. So let's go get one, dude. Let's get this car started. Let's look death in the face and say, whatever, man. Let's make our own luck. What do you say?
So you tell death, whatever, man.
He gives a good pep talk.
He does.
He's the fucking mayor of Islandtown, Christy.
That's right.
You think he can't toss together a little speech?
Right.
Let's make our own luck. Cheech.
There we go.
So Sawyer and Jen are still back at the van, and Sawyer is teaching Jen a few phrases in English. Jen says, I'm sorry. And then he says, you were right.
Oh, my God.
And then he says, those pants don't make you look fat.
Oh, my God. Your Korean is the same as your English and your Mexican.
I don't know what to say. I don't want to try to go into a full Korean accent. I don't want anybody thinking that I'm, making fun of anybody, because I'm not.
Yeah. You never go full Korean.
Yeah, don't go full Korean.
Never go full Korean.
What?
What?
Everybody knows you never go full Korean.
Oh my God. Oh, that was a fun movie.
Yeah, that was.
That movie is fucking amazing.
Okay,
All right,
so Sawyer tells Jen, now you've got it. Those are the only 3 things a woman needs to hear.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
And I will say this. Do you really think Sun ever needs to hear that the pants don't make her look fat? Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
She is a rail.
Well, if she was any skinnier, she would just cease to exist.
like Kate Moss when she turns to the side and just kind of disappears from view.
I was thinking it too. Yeah. Another Family Guy reference. Seth MacFarlane's going to sue us someday. Half our content is just imitating.
Well, half of everything that's been released since that show came out was derived from it, I feel like.
Yeah. It's true.
Which is funny because most of it was derived from other stuff. So, hey.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's so great. And it's geared toward our generation. Like,
absolutely.
I would say the majority of what is written into Family Guy, if you don't have knowledge of the 80s.
Like late 80s, 90s, funny. And early 2000s.
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
All right. So Hurley shows up and he tells him to get up because they've got to get to work. Sawyer calls him Jumbotron. And Hurley retaliates by calling Sawyer Redneck Man. Yeah. Sawyer's clearly impressed and he replies, touche.
I love it. Redneck Man.
So then Sawyer notices Charlie and he asks what Jiminy Cricket's doing there.
Oh my God.
He is laying him on.
Oh, seriously.
Oh, yeah. He's got some really good ones this time around.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Hurley says that they needed another man to push the car, and Sawyer asks, push it where? Well, maybe that's because they have Hurley steering the car. Maybe they should have had Jiminy Cricket steering, and Hurley could have been pushing.
Yeah.
And then it wouldn't have taken so many of them.
Oh,
True.
my God.
So, so now Jen, Sawyer, and Charlie are pushing the van, and Hurley's in the driver's seat. And so they push the van through a bunch of jungle greenery, and Hurley brings it to a stop. The 3 of them and Vincent, ever helpful, runs up to meet Hurley at the van. And all 5 of them look down this ridiculously steep hill that they're standing at the edge of. And Sawyer says, oh, this is going to be real good.
I love his enthusiasm for certain death.
I mean, they didn't need a hill that was quite this steep.
No. You just need a slight grade.
Yeah, I've popped a car on a much lower hill than that.
Yep.
So. Flashback number 6. Hurley is packing his bags, and Cheech enters the room and tells him that Australia's a long way to go for some stupid numbers. And Hurley tells him to leave. And his father admits that he originally came for the money. And Sawyer says you can't have, or Hurley says you can't have any of it. And his father says that's not why he's here now. He tells Hurley that he doesn't need a curse broken. He just needs a little hope and to make his own luck. Cheech thinks that he should give away all the money except enough for a carburetor for the Camaro.
So it's still about you. Even you're telling me to give away all the
Your
money. It's still
Camaro.
about you.
Yeah,
You
narcissistic.
Fuck you.
Yeah, he says, we can take it off the blocks and do that road trip to the Grand Canyon. Hurley just tells him that he'll send him a postcard from Australia.
It's never too late for a fresh start, Hugo. Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yes,
Cheech
it
is
is.
disappointed, and he says that he'll be here when Hurley gets back.
Yeah, when it's too late, it's too late. When I win the fucking lottery and you come out of the woodwork, that's when it's too late, ass.
I wish
Yeah,
when he
now
said, I'll
it's
be
too
there
late.
when you get back, I wish Hurley would have been like, hey, you won't. I've
Yeah.
got money. I'm going to hire somebody to come just grab you and throw you out of the house.
Yep.
There will be
Like,
some men here
seriously.
to remove you later.
Right.
So now we have Sawyer asking Hurley if he's nuts. He's like, you can't drive down that hill. And Hurley says they're going to push the Volkswagen, and halfway down the hill, Hurley's going to pop the clutch, and it's going to start.
Why do you have to wait until halfway down?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't.
You got to get it going. That's
Meanwhile, he waits to where it looks like about 2 feet from the rocks, but we'll get there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is almost suicidal.
And a lot of good a running engine's going to do when your tires are going to be completely flat and you're going to be on a grade like that where you have no grip.
it. Right.
Yeah.
The second it starts and you turn that wheel, that thing is just going to start rolling.
Rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have to suspend our disbelief a little bit here. so.
Yeah.
Of
The
course,
gentle
of course.
physics of Lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sawyer points out the rocks at the bottom of the hill, the great big fucking rocks at the bottom of the hill.
Ridiculous.
And he's like, that's where you're going to crash. And Jen just says in English, Hurley, no.
No.
Right. Hurley says, I know how to drive and this is going to work.
Oh my God.
So Sawyer wonders why Charlie's even there. And Charlie says, I came to ride shotgun.
Hey!
Sawyer says, it's your funeral. So he and Jen go around the back and Hurley and Charlie get in the Volkswagen. Hurley asks Charlie if he's sure. And Charlie says, victory or death.
Oh my God.
I know.
Meanwhile, here comes Desmond running across the island. Fuck!
You're making it really hard on me, brother.
Yeah.
That was a little more Lucky Charms, wasn't it? Yeah.
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 Hurley puts the rabbit's foot key in the ignition and yells, push. So they go over the edge and they are going really fast. They're headed
Stupid.
directly for these rocks.
I love the
And-
camera angles too. It makes them look like they're at like a 45-degree angle going
Yeah.
downhill.
And
Yeah.
then
And
it's going on for much longer than it would
Oh my
take that
God.
van to get from the
Oh my
top of those
God.
rocks.
Yeah.
I mean, they would hit those rocks 10 times over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
Charlie's
ridiculous.
like, now would be a good time. And Hurley closes his eyes and starts like praying. There is
Oh
no
my God.
curse. You make your own luck.
Eyes on
getting-
the not road.
Yeah.
Like,
Charlie
Remember
is-
those rocks in front of you.
Yeah.
Oh my
Jesus
God.
Charlie's
Christ.
freaking out and he's yelling, Hurley.
Whatever,
And
man!
Yeah. And Hurley's still repeating, you make your own luck. There is no curse.
Oh my
It looks like they are
God.
about to slam into these rocks and
2
Hurley,
feet away.
Yeah. So Hurley finally pops the clutch. The Volkswagen roars to life and Hurley quickly turns and misses the rocks while Shambala by Three Dog Night comes blaring out of an old 8-track cassette.
8
No
track.
fucking way he missed those rocks. There's
I
no
know.
way.
Well, like Ben said, the tires are not
Yeah.
going to have any grip on that green
Seriously.
grass and stuff to turn that quick.
Much less air in them.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were like, it was like 2 feet from the rock. I can't
Yeah.
get over
Yeah,
that.
And even,
Like,
and even if they were inflated perfectly and the engine turned on, you take that turn at the speed you would have been going and you just start to roll into the rocks anyway.
yeah, they would have
Yeah.
rolled over the driver's side and be launched off those rocks.
Yeah.
And that would have been one hell of an accident.
Yeah, you basically see Charlie get like thrown hundreds of yards. Whee!
The Flying Hobbit.
That's not how I saw it, brother.
Whatever, man.
Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, seriously. So Hurley and Charlie are laughing and celebrating in the Volkswagen. And at the top of the hill, Sawyer says, son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
Jen cheers, and then Jen, Sawyer, and Vincent all run to the bottom of the hill, and then they all pile into the Volkswagen and go for a joyride while the radio blares the song Shambala.
But gasoline only lasts about 6 months anyway.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Yeah.
Are you saying there's a plot hole?
one of many with this.
Y'all keep
vehicle.
forgetting that the island is magic.
Oh, that's right.
Did those run on diesel? I can't remember if the VW buses ran on diesel or not.
Probably.
I think diesel lasts longer.
The diesel does last longer, but it's not going to last that long.
I don't remember having anything about that in my fun facts later, but maybe I do.
All right. So now we have montage time. Jen,
Wow,
Charlie,
is that
and
like
Sawyer.
2 weeks in
Another
a row?
one, yeah.
Hey, all right.
Lots of montages. I love the montages. So Jen, Charlie, and Sawyer are returning to the beach. Jen gives Son a white flower. Charlie greets Claire, and he's telling her about their fun afternoon. Sawyer's carrying a case of beer, and for a second it looks like he's considering putting it in the kitchen for everyone, but then he doesn't. He keeps it for himself. And Hurley just sits contentedly in the Volkswagen for a little bit and goes for another ride.
I love it.
So, yeah, back to Sawyer. He's having another beer alone in his tent as he watches the two happy couples, Jen and Son, and Claire and Charlie.
Have we heard about Son's pregnancy in a while?
No.
Like, what, didn't
Not
she
in a
get
while.
pregnant several episodes ago and then we never spoke about it again? What is that? What's up with
They
that?
did talk about it when they were on the sailboat and, you know.
Right, because she had morning sickness.
It's been like 2 days since those episodes, too, I feel like.
Oh, that could be true.
Yeah, it's day 76 right now. She probably got pregnant on day 70.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, it was before that she was pregnant,
Yeah.
but we found out. Yeah, you're right. Okay. That's fine.
Yeah. So cut to Kate hiking at night with a torch. And then Saeed and Locke show up. And Locke wonders why Kate hasn't asked them for help to rescue Jack. She's like, you don't know where to look and you're not motivated.
That's right.
She questions why they didn't bother to try and rescue them earlier. And Locke says, you know, she's wrong about that. You know, we just, you know, we have a compass and now we know where to look because we have a compass bearing. It should take us right to him. Kate wonders how he came upon that. And Saeed sarcastically says, because of the way the sunlight hit Mr. Echo's stick when John was burying him.
Aha.
Oh my God. I love Saeed and how annoyed he is at this shit, but he somehow found himself going along with it. It's hilarious.
Yep. So all of a sudden we hear gunfire. Locke and Saeed both pull their guns and Kate yells, no, 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 don't shoot. We're just here to talk. You can come out. And we see Danielle cautiously enter the clearing. And she asks Kate what she wants. And Kate says that she needs Danielle's help to find the others' camp. Danielle wonders what makes Kate think she'd be interested in doing that. And Kate replies, because they had me and they would have never let me go. Probably would have killed me if I hadn't escaped. And the girl who helped me escape, she was about 16 years old and her name was
Ben.
Alex. I'm pretty sure that she's your daughter.
What?
Wow.
Lost title screen, end of episode.
You said 16 and you said Ben?
Yeah, because he thought he was arguing that she was 18 so he could fuck her.
She's not real. Oh my God.
The actress is 18.
Yes, the actress was 18. And I gotta say, I think Danielle might have been the one that did JFK because she took like 3 shots out of that bolt action rifle in like 2 seconds.
Yep.
You think
He was like,
Danielle
bang,
was on the
bang,
grassy
bang.
knoll?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. Imagine how lethal she could be if she had some rocks.
Seriously.
Yeah.
All right. Did we like that episode?
Oh my God, yes.
Of course. I love Hurley's episodes. Today's fun facts is about the Volkswagen T2. That's the model of bus that Hurley was driving. A little bit of history. Volkswagen. Ben, are you doing the
T2.
Terminator music?
Sorry, I had to.
I was like, I hear that. Different
Okay.
T2. So, a little history of the car company. Volkswagen, which in English means the people's car, was founded by the German Labor Front under the Nazi Party and was meant to make cars affordable for every citizen. Hitler's idea was to have a vehicle capable of transporting 2 adults and 3 children at 100 kilometers per hour, which is
That's 2 adults and 3 blonde-haired children.
Yes, blonde-haired, blue-eyed children.
Aryan children in the back. So that's 62 miles per hour. 60
miles an hour.
Yeah. So since no private industry was capable of the job, Hitler created a state-sponsored car company and based the designs on those by Ferdinand Porsche. During the war. Volkswagens were built by labor at the Arbeitsdorf concentration camp. So they are legitimately Nazi cars, or at least they were.
Yep.
Post-World War II, the Beetle helped to rebuild the image of the car company. It was very popular in West Germany and was used as a symbol of freedom. The Beetle is known as the Type 1 or T1 Volkswagen vehicle.
Boom, 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 boom.
The Type 2
I'll be back.
was known to shapeshift. Sorry, something else. The Type 2 was built for commercial purposes at first, introduced in 1950 and produced in West Germany from 1967 to 1979.
It's a polymimetic alloy, liquid metal.
It was produced longer after that in Mexico. Oh my God, this is amazing. Okay. We are really
That's what I learned to drive on. I learned to drive on an old Volkswagen Bug that was built in Mexico.
Did you? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We're very Gen X this week.
Jesus, we are.
So, where was I? Hang on. So the original T2, or Type 2, came with the famed split windshield and was informally called the microbus, the split screen, or splitty. Type 2 was meant to help post-World War II Germany recover, as well as provide foreign businesses with a compact transport vehicle to transport goods or people around. Type 2's creation is attributed to a Dutch Volkswagen importer named Ben Pon, who saw a niche for a small bus and pitched the idea to VW. Hurley was driving the second generation Type 2, specifically the T2A. There are 3 versions of the second generation, A, B, and C. The second generation Type 2 lost its distinctive split front windshield and was about 9 inches longer and considerably heavier than its predecessor. Its common nicknames are bread loaf and bay window, or loaf and bay for short.
Is this what Sawyer calls them?
No. I think that's what the hippies called them. So, German company Westphalia soon used the practical qualities of the VW bus to convert it into a perfect camping vehicle with such conveniences as beds, stoves, tables, and air conditioning. Some cars came with a distinctive pop-up top for added space and functionality. Due to the clever design, the package is more compact than a motorhome or trailer, giving users more freedom to move around. Thanks to its ability to transport groups of people while being cheap and easy to maintain, the VW Type 2 was very popular with the counterculture of the 1960s. Turns out it was perfect for far-out road trips.
Far out.
And that is, of course, why Sawyer refers to it as the hippie mobile. That is the correct version. All right. I had nothing in there about diesel. We'll have to look it up.
They're not.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I looked it up too. It's just
you
all
did?
gasoline.
They had 5 different powertrains, but they were all regular gasoline.
All right. Derek, what was your best and worst moments for Tricia Tanaka is Dead?
The best moment was Hurley and Charlie barreling down the hill trying to start the Volkswagen. I thought that was real funny.
Yeah.
And the camera work was amazing.
That's a way to put
it
it.
looked like the hill was like 45 degrees. I mean, seriously? Yeah. Worst moment was Cheech taking Hurley to the lying psychic, which they all lie, and try to get him to believe he is not cursed.
Yeah.
Thought that was shitty of him. And also coming back, for the money after 17 years of working in Vegas.
Right. Fuck you, dude.
Yep.
I mean, I love you, Cheech.
Yeah,
Right.
of Cheech, the actor. The real person.
Right. Oh, right. That's me. Christy.
Mm-hmm.
How about you? What are your best and worst moments?
I loved almost everything about this episode. It's hard to pick a best moment. So I picked a best nickname. I'm going to go with Skeletor.
All right. Okay.
Although Jiminy Cricket does have a close second in my heart.
God.
Worst is the psychic, and Dad coming back for the money. So yeah, that's
Ben.
And his passionate wife.
Oh.
Yeah. My favorite was when Hurley goes redneck man, and Sawyer's just like touche. That was pretty
that was
amazing.
a good nickname too.
Yeah. Worst scene I think was it was really just when Cheech wakes him up in the morning and says like, hey, let's go do this one thing, and if this doesn't work, then whatever, I won't stop you from going to Australia. That whole scene was just like, really? It's okay, whatever. Let me sleep.
Dude,
Fuck you.
could you stop
Go.
me?
Yeah, go away. Go away.
Yeah, you're in my fucking house, Dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Get out.
Get out.
Doesn't matter.
Get out.
My best moment was when the van turns over and the radio starts to play the song On the Road to Shambala. Make sure you check out that Facebook group, guys. My worst moment, Hurley talking to Libby at her grave. That really got me. And he said, I miss you, Libby. And I was just like, oh my God, that's so fucking sad.
The dust was flying.
The dust was flying in your eyes, Derek.
Yeah.
That's what I figured. Derek, what were your best characters and your worst characters, and who did you fucking kill this week?
Best character, of course, was Hurley, because I like this episode. It was a good episode. It's funny. Second was Jen for helping him get the van started. And I like Sawyer because he had some good nicknames this week. Some funny nicknames. My worst was Cheech, just for doing what he did. And then his wife was Hurley's mom, Carmen, was my second worst. And then Tricia Tanaka was my third because she was really annoying and bitchy.
She is.
She was griping, because that fuck son, because I hadn't seen her in a while.
She got hers, Tricia Tanaka.
She did.
She had a
did get hers.
meteorite.
You said you fucked son because you hadn't seen her?
Well, fuck son, because I haven't seen, she hadn't
been around. Okay.
Been around for a while.
Plus, you're not gonna,
Randy.
You're not going to knock her up either. So.
That's true.
Oh my God.
Then I'm going to kill Randy douchebag nations.
There you go.
The meteorite missed him. Well, in reality, he would have been vaporized, but.
Ben, how about you?
Pretty similar, actually. My top
too.
is Hurley, and then I've got Sawyer in second place, and I actually have Charlie in third because I'm glad Charlie finally just is like, fuck it, let's go have an adventure. And then the bottom, exactly the same. Cheech, Mrs. Cheech, and then Tricia. I've got Tricia Tanaka in third place. I'm going to fuck Kate, and then I'm going to kill Randy by pushing him into Mr. Cluck's just before the meteorite strikes.
There you go. Okay. Mine are really similar to both of yours as well. Hurley, at the top, I had Jin second as well. They were on like a great little adventure together. I also had Charlie third. Ben, Sawyer didn't make it for me because although he had great lines, he was bad with Kate, and I'm very disappointed in him in that way. Yeah. I put Charlie in for the same reason, tempting fate. Fuck it. If I'm going to die, let's go out doing something crazy, I guess. On the bottom, I had David Reyes, Carmen Reyes, and then the lion-ass psychic. I am going to fuck Sawyer and Jen in the back of the fan with Hurley driving and Charlie riding shotgun.
Is that while it's going down the hill before they started? Or?
Is Charlie going to be wanking it while he's there?
Circles. What?
He'll be wanking.
Charlie's going to be licking his lips, looking over his shoulder, wanking it.
And where's Mr. Workman in this fantasy?
He's out on the ground somewhere.
He's out
I'm not.
sitting out with a beer.
No, it's too much. It's too far.
Give him head.
And you think I'm gonna kill? I didn't hear what you said.
He said, "Giving head."
Giving head.
Oh no!
I was actually going to say something about a hand job, but the head is so much better.
Yeah.
That's what I hear. So you thought I was going to kill Randy Douchebag Nations, but I'm going to fake you out, and I'm taking out Tricia Tanaka. Only this time, I'm going to forget the safety guards on the fryers, and she's going to fall in head first.
Damn.
Ooh, wow, that's a brutal death.
That's a painful way to go.
Yeah.
Ding, father done.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Oh my God. Take a wild guess that we were all born in the 70s after this episode. It's so obvious. Okay, Christy, what are your character rankings, and who are you fucking and killing?
My favorite in order were Hurley and Jen and Sawyer. I loved, all of their interactions. Charlie just came in a little bit late on that for me. Okay. The bottom, I have the same as you, Cheech, Mrs. Cheech, and the lying psychic. Mm-hmm. I'm going to fuck Sawyer, and I'm going to kill Cheech because it's just so fucked up, to come back all those years later just because of the money. It's So
it's pretty bad. Benjamin, remind us what our rankings look like and if there have been any changes.
We do. The horse race between Sawyer and Juliet continues with Sawyer pulling back in front with 69 points.
Hey! Nice.
He pulled ahead with 69.
Yeah, he pulled ahead. Right. Exactly. With Juliet still at 61 points and Desmond still holding in third place with 43.
I like this top three in season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the bottom, we still have Dadpan standing -90, Paolo -47, and Charles Widmore -27 or 24. Right. Like nothing really changing there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Final impressions. Ben, how about you?
I'll keep it short and sweet. It was a fun episode. The whole thing with Hugo, you get to kind of see what was happening right before he went to Australia, and see that there wasn't really a whole lot of reason for him to stay there, to be honest. His father coming back and basically just being a fucking vulture.
When Johnny ran off with Starla.
Yeah. What the hell?
It was all pretty disgusting. And now you're basically, dodging rocks from space. So yeah, it's time to get the fuck out of Dodge. The stuff on the island was one of those episodes where it didn't really move the story along, but it did give it a little bit of buoyancy because it was good. It was just kind of a feel good thing, which I think it kind of needed, especially after that last episode.
Gave him hope.
Yeah, yeah, it needed a little bit of hope. So it was a good episode to kind of lift out of what happened in Stranger in a Strange Land.
I had almost exactly the same thing written. I had a great episode, lots of fun and levity needed after last week. Not a ton to further the plot. So we essentially said the same thing. What I have, though, is that at the ending, Danielle shows up. So that means we're going on some kind of quest, and that gets me excited.
Yeah, shit's about to get intense. Danielle's here, so.
I always love when a Danielle quest comes up. Christy, how about you?
I mean, of course, I love this episode. I called it right away. It's a Hurley episode. It's a happy episode. There's beer,
Beer.
Oh my God.
Skeletor likes it.
Yeah, lots of good nicknames. And then, Danielle at the end, we're like, yay, side quest. So right. I'm excited to see what happens next. And I agree with both of you that, we needed something to re-engage us after the shit fest that was the last episode.
Yeah. Derek, how about you? Final impressions? Any questions other than who is Roger?
Well, it was a much better episode than the last one. It was a fun episode with, Hurley trying and finally being able to get that Volkswagen started while getting Charlie out of his funk. And it was something, more upbeat than the previous episode. It's funny, there wasn't much, I put the same thing, there wasn't much advancing of the storyline, but Kate recruiting Danielle to go get Jack is something to look forward to.
Yeah, all right. Well.
And my biggest question, of course, is, or was, who is Roger in the van? Mm-hmm. And What about those dirt roads? What are they for?
All right. Both things shall be addressed. You will definitely find out who Roger is, and it's a great answer. But that's not coming next week. That's going to take a little bit longer. Next week, we get the side quest. Danielle and the gang go off and enter 7-7. It's a Saeed episode. It's a Derek episode. And we will see you there next week. Bye.
Adios.
Bye.
Lost in My 40s is a Spacebear Media production. Executive produced and edited by me, Lacy J. Sound engineering, editing, and original music by Benjamin Trimp. Like and follow Lost in My 40s on Facebook to interact with your hosts. Plus, follow Spacebear Media on YouTube to watch our episode pre-shows. You can also find us at Spacebear_media on Instagram and Twitter. Or come to our website, spacebearmedia.com.